Welcome to Grand Slam Sports today. My name is Charles Foster.
I'm Dylan Euler.
Not Jace Hodge.
Oh,
yeah. Well,
not Jace Hodge.
Obviously it's not Jace.
In an unfortunate week, no Jace Hodge today. Obviously, he is in Seattle, but we have Dylan on football today. We're going to have Evan doing his first real basketball segment today with us. So we're going to start off today talking about some Monday Night Football games here. And the first of them, Chargers, Arizona. I can read, I swear. Pretty solid game here looking for Arizona. What are you guys feeling about that?
You can go ahead and start.
Oh, I think Herbert looks to improve. I think Ladd McConkey as well. He's been a consistent receiver one for the Chargers. I mean, we're talking about a Chargers team right now who got rid of Keenan Allen in the offseason, went to your Bears, and he's doing somewhat decent.
He's doing all right.
And I think Ladd McConkey continues to step up. J.K. Dobbins looked really good as ever, as well as the Cardinals, who also looked good. I mean, I think my point of view is mostly on the Chargers at this point.
Yeah. I think the Chargers had a lot of receiver problems. They had a lot of guys dropping passes in this game. It's clear that this receiver room isn't as built out as they seem, but they're in year one of this kind of Jim Harbaugh rebuild. The offensive line looks good. Herbert's being protected. It's just a matter of getting some more weapons for this stud to throw to.
Absolutely. I feel like it's definitely in that stage now where weapons are the issue for the Chargers. But talking about the Cardinals, their team is looking a lot better. They have a lot of young talent, a better receiving core. Kyler Murray's kind of starting to look a little bit more like himself again. I'm liking what I'm seeing from the Cardinals here. They're definitely turning things around.
I think a big thing for the Cardinals, if they can get James Conner going, if they can get that run game going, that really opens up Marvin Harrison Jr. and Trey McBride coming across the middle. Yeah. I really think if you bottle up James Conner, it's going to pose a little bit of issues. Marvin Harrison Jr. has been inconsistent in a couple games. He goes from having 5 catches for 106 yards and a touchdown to
in the first quarter.
Yeah, in the first quarter to 5 targets, 2 catches, and for 20 yards.
I'd love to see some more consistency on that offense. That's definitely been a Kyler thing his whole career. He's been a very up and down quarterback. But seeing some more consistent, kind of drawn up plays for Marv to get those receptions. And this defense is kind of humming. Budda Baker is a stud. Man. I mean, that guy flies around the field and hits, and he's a star among scrubs on that defense.
Agreed.
So they're kind of both in this awkward rebuild.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Well, kind of looking back at it onto this next game here, we got Buccaneers versus Ravens, a doubleheader on Monday Night Football, and Ravens coming out with it, and the Bucs losing even more with the Chris Godwin injury, guys. Yeah,
Chris Godwin going down he's a big loss. He was leading the league in receptions, I believe, going into this game, and he was having a really good night. He was in like the last 2 minutes. They were down 10 points. I've seen a lot of discourse about that online.
You were down to the Ravens, which are realistically, I thought they were going to lose to them in general.
Yeah.
But in the last 40 seconds, you throw a route straight down the heart of the defense.
Yep. With
40 seconds left in the game.
Against the Ravens.
Where
hard-hitting defense.
Where you know that he's going to absolutely get smacked.
He's going to get smoked.
And I definitely understand the Buccaneers' point of, fight till the end. They got that onside kick, which is absolutely insane, by the way.
Yeah.
So they had hope. I get that. But you're already down Mike Evans, man. He exited with a hamstring injury. What is the risk and reward of throwing that route?
Well, now we're going to see the punishment, and that's going to be the Buccaneers are no longer the favorites in the division, in my opinion. Their shots just blew up. I think that now the Falcons, especially with them going against them this week, it's now their division to take. I think that they absolutely ruined their chance by losing Godwin. Mike Evans is looking to return, but Godwin is likely gone for the rest of the season.
100%.
Or I don't know if it's been confirmed yet. But that's rough. That's going to be a really rough turnover.
You can tell by the way he's sitting on the cart. You can tell he knew.
Yeah, he's like, yep, this is my season right here. And to have that go in a game where you're already down, you're already probably going to lose, it's just tough.
Yeah.
It's just tough.
Looking at last night's game, Thursday Night Football, the Vikings not looking good after losing their first game last week, losing another one this week. Vikings-Rams. What are you guys thinking about the Rams coming out on top of the Vikings?
I'll go first. I don't think the Vikings look bad. I think the Rams look better.
Yeah.
That is my opinion. I think, dude, the shootout in the first quarter.
Yeah, oh my goodness.
Touchdowns, Jesus.
In like
my
10 minutes.
Hit in like the first quarter. It was insane. For me, it wasn't the Minnesota Vikings looking bad. It's the Rams looking good. Stafford had both his weapons back. Uh-oh. And who do you cover?
Exactly.
Who do you double? I mean, Cooper
and these
Kupp
receivers that have been stepping up throughout the beginning of this season are only getting better and better. And now that they're pushed a little bit further than the depth chart, they're not getting the focus of the defense. So guys like Tutu Atwell and Parkinson, these guys are...
Robinson had 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, on the low-key end of this offense, but they're still showing out because they had to start the season.
And the Vikings, of course, they started off the season 5-0, now falling to 5-2. As NFC North guy, as a Bears fan, what do you think it's the Vikings should, start to be a little bit concerned, or
no, I don't think so. These last 2 games were super close. They could have won either of them, in my opinion. And sure, it's a couple losses, but sometimes these losses make you a better team. You're starting out 5-0, maybe you fall a couple of games, but they're still in the thick of it. I mean, in the NFC North.
You can also argue at the end of the game a missed face mask call.
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
And that leaves a minute 30 left on the clock, 15-yard penalty. You're sitting at your own 25-yard line needing a touchdown. And it could be a completely different game. I think it's not a time for the Vikings to be like, oh my gosh, what we're doing is not working.
Yeah, we're not hitting the panic button yet.
I think
no, not at all.
Yeah.
Giving up 97 yards to Kyron Williams on the ground is ridiculous.
That's tough.
For me. On a Brian Flores defense.
Kyron's a stud, but this defense has to show out. And against a Rams team that came in hot, had both of their weapons back in Puka and Cooper Kupp, they just balled out.
And looking at this Rams team, Cooper Kupp has been in trade rumors after this game and seeing what they can do.
Yeah.
Do they stay with Cooper Kupp now?
Oh, yeah.
Or do they still explore the trade rumor?
I'll let you go first.
No,
I think we have a similar opinion on this.
I think it's widely accepted that Cooper Kupp is like a very core piece of this offense, and him and Stafford's connection is just insane. He's always looking to Cooper Kupp when need be, and it would be ridiculous to trade him. When you're 3-4, you're in the thick of it, you're in the hunt for that NFC West.
Also, when you're talking about that, right, on Stafford's scramble to the left for that touchdown pass to Cooper Kupp, there was no one else he was looking for.
No.
There was no one else. You could tell. I told my friend sitting on the couch, I was like, oh, he's going to look for Cooper here.
Yeah.
Oh, boom, dot to Cooper. And I was like, oh, awesome, fantasy team points.
Exactly.
But I think that's a big part of Matthew Stafford's game. I see Cooper Kupp as like, of course, I'm a Patriots fan, but a Julian Edelman of the Rams. He is a gadget guy who you can put him out wide, you can put him in the slot, you can have him run whatever route, and he will get open. Yeah. And that's what I love about Kupp, and I think that's why some teams are also high on him. But you also got to take into account, DeAndre Hopkins went for a 5th-round pick. Yeah. Realistically, with his age and his injuries, what pick realistically are you going to get for him?
Is he worth a 6th or a 7th to the Rams?
No. I say keep Cooper Kupp, especially with the cap penalty that they would take on by trading him. Keeping him is just the move. I think that this is a win-now team, and Cooper Kupp is a win-now receiver. And so at this point, just keep him. I think that's the safest option. But talking about older receivers now, a receiver that had a pretty rough first game, Davante Adams and the Jets, getting absolutely blown out by the Steelers. Davante Adams did not have the best game.
No.
What are we thinking?
No.
I'll go. I mean, Dylan. I think our thoughts are going to be pretty similar here. But for me, I think Davante just didn't see enough target share. It's about not knowing the playbook. It's about running the routes in practice and stuff. Yeah. I think that connection has been hindered for a couple years.
It's about timing too. They're not on the same page yet. I think they've got some time still, but you're in a really rough spot if you're the New York Jets.
Yeah. I mean, looking at the Jets here, 2-5. The season's not looking too hot. And we're going to, steal something from last call. I appreciate this idea, the panic button. Things are rough. Yeah. Things are very rough in New York. Absolute focus on the panic button because New York, 2-5, with a 40-year-old quarterback. Yeah. Not looking good.
It's so hard for me to say the things that are about to come out of my mouth. In some instances, you guys look better with Zach Wilson last year. And you guys were in a better spot with Zach Wilson. That's insane to me. For the New York Jets to now acquire Davante Adams in these next 2 weeks, if they continue the struggle, what other excuses can – all right, Saleh's a defensive-minded coach. All right, Saleh's out now. You got Nathaniel Hackett, Aaron Rodgers' best friend. And he's got his Davante Adams. Yeah. It's in a top 10 defense who's just coughing up points. Like
it's crazy for me at an NFC North, a Bears fan, to see Rodgers look this bad. And it's almost not fathomable how this team is performing the way it is. It has to be down to coaching, in my opinion, because you've got so many stars.
Yeah, it's also a team that has been allowing themselves to get run all over. We saw Warren absolutely pop off. Having Hassan Reddick will really help, I think, but I think that it's just a little bit too little too.
Yeah.
Like, it's too little too late.
Yeah.
They're 2-5, but like Roger said, you cannot start a winning streak without winning the next one. They're going to have to go into the Patriots, win a big game, even though it is a 1-6 team. It's still a big game.
Yeah.
But
you're a 2-5 team.
Yeah.
So.
looking at the Bears, trade deadline coming on. We talked about our trade deadline moves. What are you kind of looking at the Bears to pick up during this trade deadline?
I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of people want to say something along the defensive line, but this defense is humming. And people are saying an edge rusher. People are saying another defensive lineman, a pass rusher. I don't know. I mean, Gervin Dexter has looked really good this season. Montez Sweat is doing his thing. If you could have somebody else along that other edge, would be nice, but it would be tough to give up a big pick when your team is looking this good so far. I think someone like maybe Harold Landry from the Titans, or maybe even Hassan Reddick if they're looking to sell, but I would hate to see anything higher than a high day 2 pick.
Yeah.
Because this team is playing well as it is.
Yeah, and speaking of picks, let's get into pick 6 here as we're going to talk about our 6 games this week. First game, we got Jets versus Pats. I think this one to me is a pretty obvious game, but we're going to start off with Sam.
You think that, and then Drake May is going to ball out on you. Drake May has been consistently going over 240 passing yards the past 2 games, fantasy points are upwards of 19 points per game, 3 touchdown passes in the first game, 2 touchdown passes in the second game. I think Ramondre Stevenson is going to go crazy here. I got the Pats winning this.
I have to agree with Sam here. I think this Jets spiral continues to go downward end.
Yeah, I'm saying that the Jets spiral stops with the Patriots. I mean,
staying strong.
Yeah, I'm staying strong. I'm going with Jets winning.
I don't blame you.
Looking on to the next game, Falcons versus Bucks. I said it. It's the Falcons division to win. So personally, I'm going with the Falcons defeating the Bucks here.
Got the Falcons too. I think Tampa Bay is going to struggle to find answers on offense besides the running backs.
I agree with you, but I think these running backs are going to do something against this Falcons defense. Give me the Bucks. Give me their get back. Falcons beat them at home. Bucks beat the Falcons at home.
I'm here for it. I'm here for a little bit of difference. Eagles versus Bengals. Dylan, what are you thinking here?
I'm taking the Eagles here. I think the Bengals have struggled a lot this season, especially along the defense, and I think the Eagles getting A.J. Brown back. Saquon Barkley is going to go crazy on this defense. I think it's going to be kind of a shootout because the Bengals offense can do some things.
Yeah.
They've got some weapons, and Burrow's looking really nice these last few games.
Yeah, Higgins looked really good last weekend with Jamar Chase. I think that dual threat pairing, really nice. They have to sign Higgins and Jamar Chase, essential.
How?
But I got the Eagles. But I got the Eagles here. I think Saquon Barkley has been going crazy in the past couple games.
I agree. I'm going with the Eagles here. I think that they're just the better team. It's going to be a good shootout, though, but give me the Eagles taking this one. As we look on to the next game, Bills versus Seahawks. Another pretty solid game.
Very
Sam,
good game here.
What are you thinking?
Got the Bills. Josh Allen looks good with Amari Cooper. That's a great trade for him.
Absolutely. I personally think that – Dylan, what are you thinking?
You personally think with me, I think the Seahawks are going to win this game. Road Warriors.
I took the Seahawks last week, and everyone called me crazy. Nah, when Dylan takes it.
I got the Bills coming out on this one. I just think they're the better team. But the Seahawks looking pretty solid. I just think that Geno Smith's going to struggle.
This should be a good game.
It'll be a great game. Bears versus Commanders. This would be number 1 versus number 2 overall pick. Give me the Commanders. I think the Commanders are a little bit better.
Is Jaden Daniels playing?
Oh, shoot. Jaden Daniels is not playing. You're right.
Bear down.
Bear down. I completely forgot about that. Give me the Bears.
No, I'm still holding strong with the Commanders. I think Marcus Mariota did a really nice job.
I took your Pats, man.
Dude, I get that, man. But Marcus Mariota ran that offense. Jaden Daniels went the first quarter.
Cliff is cooking with this offense.
Cliff Kingsbury worked with Marcus Mariota. Yeah. Marcus Mariota ran the ball. He passed the ball. And he made minimal mistakes in this offense. I think I'm going with the Commanders here just because I think Caleb Williams is going to make 1 or 2 rookie mistakes.
All right, well, looking at the injury bowl that we have going on Sunday Night Football, Cowboys versus Niners. This will be a rough one. Dylan, what do you think?
If you told me going into this season I'd be this uninterested in this football game, I'd be so crazy. But I'll take the Niners in this for whatever reason.
I'm going with the Niners as well. I just think they're just a little bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a clean sweep going here. The Cowboys just stink.
Cowboys are going to win this game now, aren't they?
Cowboys are one of those teams where you're like, how talented is that? The receiving core. I mean, you have CeeDee Lamb, you got Dak Prescott. Why are they not winning?
Yeah.
But looking on the rookies, a rookie report here. Dylan's doing his first year rookie report with us. I'm doing my second NBA one, first one of the season. We got Yves Missy here. He's been pretty solid for the Pelicans here. With his first game, 12 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 blocks.
They beat my Bulls.
Yeah, they did beat your Bulls. This is a team here that was looking to run Herb Jones at center. So having Yves Missy come in and prove that, like, hey, I'm good, is kind of nice for a Pelicans team that needs some good news after potentially losing DeJounte Murray for a very long time. I think that Yves Missy came in and he did his stuff and proved that he can actually be a pretty solid piece. Dylan, what are you thinking? What's your rookie?
My rookie of the week is Beanie Bishop of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
Slot corner. Struggled his first few games. Picked off your Aaron Rodgers twice. Had 6 total tackles, 5 solo tackles. The secondary is getting better and better and better. And dare I say, this defense might be one of the best defenses in the NFL. With a strong run game. It's the Chicago Bears, but in black and white.
That's a very scary defense. That's such a very scary defense. I mean, you got 2 good edge rushers. You got TJ Watt as well. I mean,
and this guy's getting better and better.
I'm scared to play Steelers. Yeah, I'm scared to play Steelers, man.
Sorry, boss.
If I had to hear the word Beanie Baby one more time after an interception, I was going to drop kick my TV.
No, it's okay. Beanie Baby took that Aaron Rodgers out of his back pocket when he got home, put it on the counter next to his keys and his wallet, and said, "Oh, what a nice night."
Is getting 2 signed footballs from Aaron Rodgers, by the way. That's tough. That's a tough.
As Charles looks on, we're going to get into my rookie to end things here. Sorry, Charles. I'm sticking to my soccer theme. I'm going to go Arda Güler here, 19-year-old from Real Madrid. He's in attacking center mid. Left foot of dreams, by the way. Hit some absolute curlers in the World Cup for Turkey. If you haven't seen those, go look them up. They're about from 30 yards out, top left. And oh my Lord, what a player in 1v1 situations. Couple images obviously surfacing here. He's 1-on-3 and somehow he gets past all 3 of them, right?
Yeah.
He's one of those players, really creative. And again, adding to that youth of Real Madrid, which I really love.
And yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're looking at that Real Madrid team. That's a very young team. And I think that some of that youth has been very important for them. And I think that having him play the way that he's playing is going to be even better for a Real Madrid team that's looking to be, what in my opinion, considered timeless. So that's going to be all for that segment. But speaking of which, soccer, Sam's going to be talking about soccer coming up next.
Welcome back into Grand Slam Sports. Jace is not here with me, doing this segment alone. Very excited about it. Soccer is back. Champions League's back. We had a bunch of fixtures that I really enjoyed watching, especially this week, including the Real Madrid 5-2 win over Dortmund, Barcelona trouncing my Bayern 4-1, and a couple other good matches as we were looking at this Champions League table, which is very surprising, at least for me as a soccer fan, because some of the teams there, there's just no way they're there. You have Brest and Aston Villa definitely at the top of those 2 tables there. And Bayern sitting 23rd on the edge of that relegation zone. Going to Europa League next year, I think that'll be such a disappointment if that happens. Barcelona mid-table, Real Madrid towards the top as well, coming off of their 5-2 win over Dortmund. Vinicius Jr. scored a hat trick. We're going to talk about that game a little later. But we're going to hop right into one of my favorite matches to watch, which was the Bayern and Barcelona. I think this match, I was really looking forward to it. A bunch of my buddies are Barcelona fans. We were able to watch that match all together. Unfortunately, my Bayern lose out 4-1, conceding some really, really interesting goals, especially on that counterattack. I don't think our defensive pairing in the midfield and also in our center backs as well just did not work the way that people thought it would. A lot of questions coming into this season about that selling of Matthijs de Ligt to Man United. I initially didn't like that decision because of the struggles that I knew we were going to have in the Champions League. And look, it was on live television for everybody to see. Miscommunications, the counterattack. We possessed the ball 63% of the time but still lose 4-1. People at home tell me, how is that possible? I think we created better opportunities, especially from set pieces, against a Barcelona team who is on the younger side, who is more risky in their play and more brave with their play as Bayern play possession. For me personally, I don't really enjoy company style of soccer here. I'm speaking about the manager of Bayern. I think that it's too conservative for me. I want to see more initiative. I want to see Musiala not getting subbed in, but starting the game, especially against this crucial game against Barcelona, where Bayern now sit at the bottom of this new Championship League format. And it's very frustrating for me to see a talented roster of Elise, Musiala, Harry Kane, Serge Gnabry, Leroy Sané, Paulinho, who we just signed. And it's just very difficult to see these results come across my feed. I turned this game off at halftime. My friend texted me, they scored again. Rafinha, hat trick. And I said, oh my gosh, like I don't understand what they need to do here going forward, whether it's transfers. We need to get another center back in here, stat. Still not understanding Matthijs de Ligt's transfer. We're going to go into our second game that I enjoyed watching, which is Real Madrid in the shirtless Vinicius Jr. running across my screen. He did get booked for that, by the way. Did receive a yellow card. But his hat trick, Real Madrid Cruze 5-2 over Dortmund. It was 2-0 first half. Dortmund winning convincingly. I was excited. I was like, hey, Real Madrid, lots of talk this season about them being posers. A lot of talk about them struggling to find chemistry within the systems that they run. They were able to figure that out in this game. More towards the back end of this game in typical Real Madrid style. I mean, Vinicius with a hat trick, 2 more goals scored. Obviously, Lucas Vazquez with a goal. Anthony Rudiger as well, knocking one in from a set-piece play. I think Real Madrid just figure out a way to get it done. I think that a lot of people can complain saying, hey, you have stars, you have this, you that, and everything. But Dortmund was up 2-0, and they lost composure. They lost sort of that energy to stay in this fight a little bit. And I think Real Madrid capitalized on that by making some key substitutions. I think right now Valverde is one of the best players in the midfield that I've seen for Real Madrid this season, especially in La Liga. He's sort of orchestrating that midfield. And like you're talking about Modric and Cruze and all those great Real Madrid midfielders who are connecting passes and moving the ball up the field. I think Tchouaméni is a great option at center defensive midfielder. You have Camavinga as well, who's very versatile. He can play left back, he can play center back, he can play center mid, he can play center defensive mid, and I think Real Madrid really utilize those types of players really well. Speaking of one of those players, as he's on the screen now, but we're going to pair him with another Brazilian who had a day and a half for his Bayern. 2 hat-trick heroes. Vinicius Jr., a hat-trick against Dortmund, and Rafinha, who's flourishing in a Hansi Flick system at Barcelona. And what's crazy to me is that Hansi Flick was actually the coach of Bayern Munich, so very ironic that Bayern lose 4-1 to their former manager. So we're going to get into sort of the breakdown of what I think are 2 similar players, their play styles. They like to have that wide winger. They like to stay wide. They like to take that first touch in forward and take defenders on, sort of a Neymar-esque player. I mean, they're both Brazilian. But, I mean, Rafinha scoring in the first minute of the game versus Bayern, like you're kidding me, right? And Vinicius towards the end of that in the 62nd minute, 86th minute, and an extra time of 90+3. I think 2 really creative players. I enjoy watching them both. Now, there's been a lot of talk of Vinicius getting on the same level as Neymar. Possibly. We are going to be watching that closely. At least I'm going to be watching that closely as more Champions League soccer is going to take part, especially going into the month of November.
Welcome back into Grand Slam Sports. And today, we're kind of talking about how we have 4 sports today. That's because it's actually the sports equinox. For just the 30th time in history, on Monday, there will be all 4 major American sports being played around the country. So that's a pretty big deal. So as we look into this, as we talk about the NBA here, I have Evan Porterfield back here for the first time in a year.
Yes, sir.
Evan, your rookie report, your rookie. Who are you looking at this week?
All right, this week we got the man, the myth, the legend, Zach Edey, who actually I hated in college. I did not like this guy. He was not him. But I think I'm starting to enjoy Zach Edey. I used to think in college it was just his height. But he's playing pretty well. He's playing pretty good for Memphis. He was the 9th overall pick. He's the starting center. He's already starting, and he's a rookie, which is pretty impressive. And he's showing good numbers. He's doing good. And I think with John Morant kind of just lobbing him the ball, It's perfect. It's perfect for a center. He's good on the picks. He's good on the dunks. I think he's going to do pretty good for Memphis. I'm excited.
Agreed. I think he's going to do pretty good if he could stay healthy. That's got to be the main thing. Stay healthy and stay out of foul trouble. As we look at another rookie, a rookie that we're going to have to kind of be a little bit concerned about. We look at Bronny James here. What is next for Bronny James? Putting up a donut coming into that first game. What do you think should be the path for Bronny in his career?
You know what? I don't think Bronny should have been here in the first place. Guys, this guy was a terrible college player, like one of the worst prospects ever. There's only been 3 other people that have been picked as bad as him. He averaged less than 5 points per game, 3 assists, and 3 rebounds in college. Less than. In college.
Yeah. I definitely think that the athleticism, the defensive ability is there. I mean, he is the son of either 1 or 2 in history. So I think that it is important. He's going to be in the NBA. It's the way it is. But for me, he should not be on the opening day roster, and he should not be playing on said opening day roster. I think send him down to the G League. To me, that's my spot. Send him down to the G League, where I still think he's going to suffer because he's going to be going against better players than he was in college. But I think that he will be able to develop the athleticism, and the things that you cannot teach are there. It's just, can you have the skill to actually be a good NBA player is the main question.
I agree with the G League. I think right now, just having him play for the Lakers, it just seems like a gimmick. It doesn't make sense for him right now. And I get that his dad is like the best, the GOAT.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean he's the GOAT. Yeah. So, I don't understand this for him. G League definitely makes a lot more sense.
Personally, I think that J.J. Redick did a fantastic coaching job in his first game. I think that he has been a phenomenal coach. I just think that the issue is, if he can get past this Bronny and what LA wants him to do, I think he's going to be a fantastic coach. I think it's just they're going to need to figure out what to do with Bronny. But looking at the other side of history, the successful team right now in these debates, looking at the Celtics, they come in on the first night and absolutely decimate the Knicks. What do you think about the Celtics coming in this year?
I love the Celtics, and I think we can both agree. I think they're going to have a really good year. They killed it. It was a blowout. I remember by the third quarter, I was like, okay, is there even a point of watching the game anymore? Because Tatum doing amazing, doing his thing. It was a really good watch. I loved it.
Absolutely. Tying the NBA record for 3-pointers with 10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and then continuing to miss another for the next 10 minutes. It was great. It was great. As a Celtics fan, you got to look at the positives. Team looks great. Absolutely whooping the Wizards again. But as we look at the other side of things, obviously the Celtics are going to look great, but they went against a team that for many people is number 2 in the East with the Knicks. What do you think the Knicks' problem is going to be coming into the rest of the season?
I don't know. It didn't seem like the Knicks I knew last year watching them, and I don't know what it was. It just, something wasn't clicking, and maybe it's just because it's early in the season. But things just weren't going right. And I guess they're going against a Boston team that looks as good as they were previously. But I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, for me, I think we're looking at OG Anunoby, who shot 14% from 3. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. We're looking at Mikal Bridges, who changed his jump shot this season. Now, I want to say this first and foremost. Whoever told Mikal Bridges to change his jump shot needs to be taken out on the streets of New York and tarred and feathered. I mean, this man has absolutely just ruined his jump shot. I mean, he's shooting like this, and he has completely missed everything. I mean, I bet the under on him. It was the easiest under I've ever won in my entire life. So I just think that the Knicks, they're trying to do too much, and I think that it's just not working out too well. But Evans, speaking of the finals, speaking of looking at the future, who is your finals prediction for, and who are your dark horse teams to make the playoffs?
So I think we can both agree on this. I believe in Boston. I think they can do it. They look amazing already. I mean, unless there's some injuries of some sort, I think they've got this. Their team's just so solid overall. But my dark horses, I think this is where we might disagree. You can see we've got Grizzlies and we got Charlotte up here. And those are my dark horses. I think the Grizzlies and Charlotte are going to have a good year. I think I like these two. I like Ja Morant. Like I said, I like Edey. I like Ja Morant. I think they're going to make a really good pair, and I just think overall the Grizzlies are just looking really good. But I like LaMelo Ball. I like Charlotte. I don't really have a reason. I just think when I've watched them, they're doing better than I've seen them do previously.
And yeah, if we're talking about a team that's going to make the playoffs that we're not expecting to make the playoffs, I think that Charlotte is one of those teams in a very weak Eastern Conference, genuinely does have a good chance. I don't hate Charlotte making the playoffs. I think that they have a lot of young talent that can really turn things around. I like them to make the play-in. But looking at a team that is probably going to only make the play-in, looking at the Warriors, they had a really good game, a blowout win against the Blazers in their last game. But obviously the Warriors, they don't necessarily look like they used to be. But their new splash Buddy Hield, coming in looking pretty solid. How are you feeling about this Warriors team this year?
This is great, and I think this was their basically their biggest blowout in franchise history. It was crazy. I like it, and I do agree. I think Buddy Hield and Curry, they make a great duo, some really good chemistry. It was a lot of fun to watch. And I think Andrew Wiggins looked good. I really like that. And I think overall what the Warriors have that makes them so strong this year is they just have a really good bench. They have some people that they can bring on at any moment that can get the job done, and I like it. And they got Curry, really great coach. I like this team overall.
Agreed. I think that bringing in Slow-Mo, Kyle Anderson, he's looking pretty solid. Having Pod off the bench, Kuminga whenever he does come off the bench. It's a good team. I don't think it's enough to go any farther. They were unable to get Paul George this offseason. They were unable to get Lauri Markkanen. This is a Warriors team that is going to be staying at mediocrity, but I think Steph Curry can definitely take them above the hump of being bad. I think that they just need to figure things out. Having Trace Jackson Davis, having emerged these past few seasons, I think has also been very, very big for this team. So I think the Warriors, they're going to surprise some people, but they're not as good as past, especially losing Klay Thompson.
They're going to do great in the regular season. I don't know if they can beat a Celtics in the championships. Yeah.
But speaking of Paul George, looking at some allegations, not allegations, but I guess in some they're looking into the 76ers with some issues. The Sixers have been benching their players a lot. Joel Embiid had said that he will likely never play a back-to-back. Darrell Morey said that Paul George will also likely not play a back-to-back this season. Do the Sixers need to be punished for the amount that they're benching their stars?
At the end of the day, I get the strategy. I think what they're thinking is, let's be the best playoff team we can be and have the healthiest players. But at the end of the day, the NBA is a business. I think that's what people forget. Yes. I think we all get very emotionally in it and yes, let's win the playoffs. Let's have the healthiest players. But this is a business. And a lot of people are buying their tickets and they want to see Joel Embiid. They want to see Paul George. They want to see the stars. And not seeing the stars is kind of hurting the business model. Yeah. So I do think there should be some sort of fine. It's unfortunate. There's strategy, and I think in the past they've tried to say, hey, we should not have people play every single game. But it's a business.
Yeah, I'm all for resting, but the whole Kawhi Leonard thing has just been absolutely ridiculous. Just the way that this sport is going. I mean, like you said, it's a business. I mean, if we look at it, we look at a team like the Celtics where they have borderline 5 All-Stars. They could play 3 of them all season and just bench 2 of them in tanks like they're Goku, and then they could just come in and absolutely dominate every playoff because they'll be healthy. And that's just not the way that the business works. That's not the way that the business can work. And I think that I don't necessarily say automatic punishment, blah, 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 but definitely hey, if you guys do not get your stuff together, you guys are getting fined, et cetera, et cetera. So I definitely think that they should focus a little bit more on that, kind of figure out what they're going to do with the Sixers team that just it's not good for Philly fans. Philly's very passionate, and they are very mean if they want to be. So looking at that. But, we're going to take a look in on me here because we're going to switch gears and look at some MLB. Looking at the MLB World Series here starting tonight at 8:08 p.m. Very weird time. But we are having the most popular and unpopular World Series probably in a very long time. We have the Dodgers and the Yankees, 2 of the biggest fan bases, are going to be going to the show, and we're going to have Shohei Ohtani, we're going to have Mookie Betts, we're going to have Freddie Freeman, an insane 3 MVPs on the Dodgers team, and then we also look at Juan Soto, Aaron Judge, and Jazz Chisholm on the Yankees. We're going to have a really fun World Series here. America hates this World Series. As anyone that's not in New York and LA, this is a pretty rough World Series. But I think this one's going to be really fun. These are two teams that spent a lot of money making their rosters go, and I think that we're about to see the most star power we have seen in a World Series in a very long time. My former host with me, Jace, obviously he's not here this week, we always talk about one of the biggest things in this sport is who can go on the hottest run. But for the first time in a very long time in MLB, we are seeing the two best teams at the best stage. And for me personally, who has not been able to see Showtober in October, getting to see Shohei Ohtani perform in the World Series, this is a chance for him to make a legacy. I think that this is going to be a fantastic series. Looking at some early predictions coming into tonight, obviously, Jace is probably going to hate me for saying this. In Seattle, I love you, but I got the Dodgers coming out on top of this series over the Yankees. I think that the 3 MVPs, the better pitching, I think they're just too hard to beat. But I think that the Yankees, they're going to show a really very good scheme. I think that their hitting has been okay if Aaron Judge can actually be the way that Aaron Judge is supposed to be. The Yankees, they could be a fantastic team. They could actually come out on top here and increase their World Series amount even more. But that's going to be all from Grand Slam today. We had 4 sports, all 4 of our sports being covered for just the second time in Grand Slam history. Pretty good day today. I'm Charles Foster with the rest of the people back there. Have a good night.